videos from all over the internet that's going to make you rethink everything. Let's just start.
One piece of advice I tell all my friends as a therapist that they never listen to, but I wish they did because it would save them so much time. People treat you a certain way because you're showing up a certain way. People are treating you a certain way because you are showing up in a certain way. Not to blame or victim shame, but remember that you have power in inspiring other people to treat you in a different way. And the way you are showing up right now is inspiring them to show up in the way they do.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things. It's horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. They're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
Brigitte Macron wanted to install an erect penis with golden balls to become the new spire for the Notre Dame Cathedral. You heard me correct. Here is a headline. Brigitte Macron backed an erect phallus with golden balls as the new spire for the Notre Dame Cathedral, France's former culture minister claims. This is not a conspiracy. Brigitte likes freaky art. That's just what she's into.
In her memoir, former French culture minister Roselyne Bachelot revealed that Brigitte Macron proposed a controversial design for the reconstruction of Notre Dame Cathedral's spire. According to Bachelot, Brigitte suggested a modern spire resembling a phallus with golden balls. This proposal sparked significant debate. Owens mocked the proposal, using it as further evidence of what she called the unhinged mindset of France's elite. Owens has consistently targeted the Macrons, questioning their credibility and values, while fueling controversy both in France and internationally.
I remember talking with my dad, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be making $100,000 a month from this. And my dad started laughing. I literally was just sitting there and I was just smiling. I was why is he fucking laughing? And I was like, no, Dad, I'm going to be making $1 million a month. He literally it wasn't like a laugh where it's like, haha, you're so funny. It was just laughing because of how crazy it was. And now I'm doing that. And something even cooler is my brother now works for me. And that's awesome. So I'm the black sheep and I'm turning him into black sheep 2.0 because my brother works for me and he's now making 6 figures a month. It's really cool to see how my younger cousins, when we go back for family reunions, to see why is Tyler driving a Lamborghini when everybody's in the minivans at the family reunion? Why does Tyler have tattoos, or why does Tyler have diamonds? Why does he have such cool clothes? It's really cool to be able to obviously not be a bad influence, but show these younger cousins of mine that I'm really close with, hey, life isn't just the 9 to 5.
The only thing scarier than accepting who we are is accepting that we don't know who we are going to be when we let go of the things that have made us who we are today.
Because you're born on the 15th, that means you're going to have to be either a very home and family guy or someone who has a lot of responsibility over other people in the business department, something like that. So that would probably be the best thing that you could do in your life. Either have a family business. And another thing that people who are born on the 15th are really good at, I mean, you guys could check this, is sound. People born on the 15th are killers in real estate. It do so well. And one of the reasons is, if you look at a house, home, first vowel is O, O is the 15th letter. So of all the 6 vibrations, that the people born on the 15th do really well in real estate. So if you're not in that field, that's what I recommend you do.
And Owen Miller just answered back with another super chat saying, holy ish, I actually work in real estate. So, yeah.
And people call me a fraud. Yeah. And people call me a fraud. How the hell could I know that? Because I've done this enough times. This is why I'm cocky. You could have any machine. You could do anything. They haven't seen what you can't make the connections if you're not looking for the stuff. So many people born on the 15th are into real estate. This is how it works.
When the richest man in the world has an ego as fragile as glass, you know that money can't buy confidence. If it were up to Elon Musk, we'd all see him as a genius, badass, comedian, or hero. But time and time again, he's shown us that he's an insecure man in deep need of validation. You may think that sounds harsh, but in this video, we'll go through a series of events that will show you exactly what I mean. The most recent incident occurred just a few days ago, after professional gamer and streamer Quinn69 posted this video to his YouTube channel. In it, he covered Elon's progress in the game Path of Exile 2, where he achieved a rank of 12 in the game's hardcore mode, something extraordinarily difficult to do.
Elon Musk's character is currently level 97, aka rank 12 on hardcore, that's permanent death mode, trade league. Let me try to give you a quick understanding as to how hard it is to get to that level. 2 weeks into the league, when people are playing the game, literally they're staying up 40 to 50 hours without sleeping, only playing Path of Exile, and they are the most try-hard guys in the world. The highest ranked player on the hardcore trade league was level 93. Okay, and you're thinking about yourself, that's kind of close to 97. Every time you level it up, it becomes exponentially harder to gain experience. A lot harder and a lot harder. Okay, so these players, to get to 97, have to be playing the game every day for the majority of their day. Currently, what is their highest ranked player? They're level 97, same as Elon Musk. So, I mean, he effectively has been playing, pretty much just doing nothing except playing Path of Exile.
For context, Elon has always made it known he's really into video games, and he's gone on the record multiple times saying how good he is at them.
I have a lifetime of playing video games. At one point I was, maybe one of the best Quake players in the world.
You're actually like a world-class, incredible video game player.
Yeah.
The Paragon board and the build, you're also an innovator there.
Yeah, I played a lot of video games.
You think about like StarCraft, any game where a lot of people are playing, to rise to the top, you have to be exceptional, period, as a human being.
Yeah.
There has to be something exceptional about you.
Yeah.
Are you in the top 20 in the world or the top 20? Wow, in Diablo.
Yeah.
Do you know the difference between the people who live down there and the people who live up here, bro? Do you know the difference? It's all mindset and paradigm, bro. People who live down here, bro, got different mindset than the people who live up there, over there in the fucking condo, penthouse, whatever it is. It's their paradigm, their mindset, how they perceive the world, bro. Remember I told you in every fucking video, everything is in your mind. Everything is in your mind. What you do is how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything, bro. Give a man fame, give a man power, give a man money, bro. And you see what type of person he is. Whether if he's on top, whether if he's down there, bro. But at the end of the day, it's up to you, bro. Whether if you want to be here or you want to be here, bro. Lock in. If you made it this far, bro, comment down below W, and I'll see you soon.
Air conditioning unlocked Saudi Arabia. And it's kind of unrealistic to think that you could even have 33 million people living in cities in a desert if you were able to keep them cool all the time. It's one of the hottest deserts on Earth, and Saudi Arabia's cities have extremely wide sprawl. And of course, each individual building has air conditioning. Air conditioning is incredibly power intensive. During summer, this is obvious, as power consumption because of air conditioning almost doubles, meaning that if you're one of these guys, this is the place to sell. And you have to consider that this is because Saudi Arabia is a very urbanized country. And in the modern world, if you're going to be spending your entire day inside a building, you're probably going to want AC. And AC has become more available because more people can afford it. It's gotten to such a point that during summer, 70% of the country's power goes to AC. Most of the power that's generated in the country comes from natural gas and oil. But in accordance with the country's Vision 2030 program, they are aiming to have at least 50% of their power coming from renewables. And that's in 5 years.
I've been spending endless hours looking at North Korea from the sky, and I want to show you something. Here it is, right here. Air Force Base, and now right next to it, a brand new massive resort. And they just finished construction, which is why Kim Jong-un and his daughter have been visiting. So who is coming to North Korea for international tourism? The answer more and more is Russians, who are having an increasingly difficult time traveling elsewhere. They've been releasing these amazing promo videos of happy, hot Russians hanging out, airboxing, and then here at the end, they just have this testimonial with these two who are talking, but you literally can't hear anything. This massive resort is one step towards a tourism industry. It's a lot more to see on the map of North Korea, so make sure to subscribe.
Here's the thing about favor. Someone can be with or around you for so long that they forget that the blessings are attached to you and not them. There's a reason why God doesn't favor everybody, because not everybody can handle it. For example, let's say that you are a woman of God and you're no stranger to the favor of God, because God supplies all of your needs. I'm talking about you don't want for anything. And then you mess around and get with a guy who does not have the favor of God on his life, but you see his potential. So you date, you marry, and you move in together. And And just like Lot got to enjoy the favor that was on Abraham's life, this guy starts to enjoy the favor that's on your life because God blesses your household. And God will show you quick, fast, and in a hurry why he never favored him. You see, because of your prayers, this guy goes out and gets a good job. Because of the grace on your life, this man starts making some really good connections. He even starts a really good business. And just like that, y'all living in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, driving nice vehicles, you don't want for anything. But less than a year in, he starts to treat you poorly. I'm talking about old boy gets really arrogant. And you do any and everything that you can to try and save your marriage. But you're in that fight alone because he's fighting against the marriage you're fighting for. As time goes by, he becomes more and more arrogant. And then you start suspecting that he has a mistress, or 2 or 3. He starts coming home later and later, and the inevitable happens. You find out about the other woman. Or he leaves you for the other woman. And in the divorce, he wants the house and the car. And of course, he's taking his business with him. That business that you helped him start. And it almost seems unfair because some strange chick came along and now she gets to reap the benefits of your hard work. It would appear that she gets to reap the benefits of your favor. But the divorce goes on, you two liquidate the house, he takes his car, you take your vehicle, and he keeps his company. And the rumors start flying around that he has moved in with the woman, now he's about to marry the woman, and they are expecting a kid together. It will seem that while you're at your house crying, he's somewhere enjoying himself. It looks like she won. But you have to understand with God, there is no competition, so there is no she won because you can't win a loser. But you do the work. You go out here, you heal, you forgive, you do the work. You go through your struggle season, and for a space in time, people get to laugh at you. All those folks that were jealous all along, they get to say, you see, what goes up must come down. Or when giants fall, they fall hard. And let's say that you're back at your parents' house, sleeping on an air mattress, raising that man's kids, and trying to figure out what you're going to do with the mounting debt that he left behind, all the while trying to help your children get used to their new reality. But again, you go out there, you do the work, you heal. You pray for the people who spitefully use you, and you take the lesson behind the matter. One thing that you're going to start to see is that the favor was attached to you all along. Oh yeah, he'll come to realize that as well. Because one day you'll go get yourself a house, you and your children, your job will continue to pay you well, you may get a promotion, and God will restore everything that the cankerworm and the palmer worm have stolen. And again, you have truly forgiven this guy. So you go on with your life, making it a point to not look back. But 3 years later, you find out that this guy has lost everything, and I mean everything. His company went belly up. The woman that he left you for cheated on him and left him for another man, and now he's homeless, living in his mother's basement again. What happened here? The favor was attached to you and not him. This is why you don't marry somebody that God hasn't favored. Because by not extending favor to them, he's simply saying that they can't handle it. There's too much pride, too much arrogance, too much entitlement in them. But when you brought them into your life, they got to enjoy the favor that was on your life. And this gave them access to a lifestyle that they didn't have before. And again, they couldn't handle it. Let me say it this way. Favor has weight. It has the ability to crush you. So anytime you are walking in favor, whatever is in you is going to come out of you. If you got the oil on your life, whenever you're crushed, the oil is going to come out. If you're filled with pride, arrogance, and entitlement, that's going to come out whenever the favor of God hits your life. And if you come in contact with somebody whose moral compass is not pointed to God, you will find that person in the wilderness. Please understand, in the wilderness, there are wild animals. But you bring your anointed happy tail out there and you see that good looking Billy over there and you see his potential. So you pitch a camp in the wilderness and you start dating a dude. And he takes you in circles and cycles. And he notices that even when you're in the wilderness, God blesses you with manna. So he takes you down to the courthouse and the two of you leave with your marriage certificate. It has your signature and his hoof print. And now old boy gets a taste of favor. You don't even know what you just woke up. Trying to help him reach his potential, you help him to establish a company or you help him to get into a career. And before long, everybody's saying he's a goat at what he does. He's really good at what he does. And again, every time he gets a compliment, his horns grow an inch. What you don't realize is that God loves you and he extends favor to you, and favor will deliver you from the people who are mismanaging you. In other words, that man will be in his house being tormented with jealousy by watching God constantly favor you time and time again. But he won't be healed or mature enough to understand that that same favor is not going to follow him when he walks away. The same is true for friends. God will torment some of the people in your life by blessing you in their faces. This is why he said, I will set a table for you in the presence of your enemies. I think we forget sometimes that God says that our enemies will be members of our own households. So he has to sit at the head of the table and watch God constantly bless you. Constantly listening to you talking about, baby, I got a promotion on my job. Baby, I'm working on this. Baby, I accomplished that. And to bring you down, he tries his best to get you pregnant. Time and time again. Because he wants to humble your happy tail. But ultimately, after the breakup, God proves that the favor was on your life and not that guy's life. I'm sharing this to encourage somebody out there. Stop taking the favor on your life for granted. Stop feeling guilty because you're watching God do things in your life that he's not doing in the lives of the people around you. And understand, you can't drag anybody into favor. You can only demonstrate it. They're going to have to pursue God themselves. And last but not least, don't forget, if you invite somebody into favor who God has withheld favor from, that person will eventually become to despise you because they're not healed enough to understand that God doesn't owe them anything. If this message was for you, or if this message blessed you, write favor in the comment section. Like and subscribe for more.
Did you know that Samson didn't lose his strength just because his hair was cut? The real reason is much deeper and is related to his disobedience. Samson's story is one of the most well-known in the Bible, a man with superhuman strength. From birth, Samson was dedicated to God under the Nazirite vow, which included never cutting his hair. But was his hair truly the source of his strength? Throughout his life, Samson broke several parts of his covenant with God. The touched dead bodies, got involved with Philistine women, and violated his vow of purity. These acts distanced him further from God, and the cutting of his hair was the final sign of his disobedience. In Judges 16:20, we read that the Lord had left him. Samson's true loss of strength occurred because God withdrew from him, not simply because of the haircut. Samson's strength was rooted in his faithfulness to God. When he broke that covenant, he lost God's divine protection and his strength. If you enjoy biblical stories, share this with more people.
It's better if a woman thinks that you don't like her compared to if she thinks that you do like her. Let me explain. If she thinks you do like her, now she already has your approval, she already has your validation, and you're no longer a chase. What that means is she knows exactly where you stand with her. So all those good feelings that keeps her wanting to pursuing the relationship, such as you being a bit mysterious, not displaying how much you like her, those things start to vanish because now she sees where you're at. However, if a woman doesn't know if you like her, or if she thinks you maybe don't even really like her, what you're going to oftentimes find is if she's attracted to you, she will start to attempt to win you over. She might start to do nice things for you, say sweet things, she might start to be very nice to you, and what she's trying to do is basically say, hey, I would probably be a good girlfriend. Now, the reason why she's doing this is because since you don't like her, hypergamy is satisfied. And this is going to be one of the most important keys in maintaining the proper dynamic, so she wants to keep pursuing you.
This is why talking to yourself like a crazy person might just make you rich. They've done studies on the human brain and realize that it doesn't know the difference between thought and reality. Which means if you sit there and think about the worst moment of your life and you start to feel emotional, you start to cry, versus actually experiencing it, your brain's neurons react the exact same way. And it goes for the same if you visualize and speak you becoming successful, starting that business, and changing your family's life forever. Your brain actually thinks it happened. Now, why is this important? It's because when you do this, you actually change the energy that you hold. And if you do it enough, your frequency will raise so much that you will start living, breathing, walking, talking like the person that you want to come. Therefore, attracting the life, the people, and the results that you want.
Women are extremely turned on by men that are damaged emotionally and circumstantially, meaning they struggling. I know you may hear them talk about, I want a man that make this amount of money and a man that look like this and look like that and look like this and look like that. But then they'll turn around and be with somebody totally opposite of that. And I'm talking about gorgeous women. Amazing looking women that you say, wow, I know it's a man gonna have to come from the sky in order to get her attention. But no, that's not what it is. They want guys that they can have control of, that's in a situation, emotionally unavailable, guys who don't care about life or themselves. That's who they want. I wasn't always the person I was. And the more I learned, I saw a twitch take place in my vibe.
So before I do this interview, there is no Illuminati. It's just a joke. It's just something that crazy people talk about. There's no such thing as our side and God's side. None of that is even real.
Now, the Rwandan president, he is saying that they are ready for a confrontation with South Africa if necessary. And if you look at this, what you're essentially seeing, you're seeing Apple getting products from two countries, Rwanda, which is neighboring, and Congo. Now South Africa has invested so that they are also able to supply Apple with products. So you've got 3 countries that want to give Apple the natural resources: South Africa, Rwanda, and Congo. It would seem like South Africa and Congo are fighting together because South African troops are supporting the government of Congo. And it would seem like M23 and Rwanda are fighting together. Here's my concern. As Africans, if they continue fighting each other, it only fosters an environment where Apple will never be persecuted.
I think this video should be mandatory for everyone to see. This is how we spend our time over the years. So you can see in the 1940s and 50s, we're spending a lot of time with friends and family and zero online. I mean, it didn't exist back then, right? But things start to change, around the 70s and 80s, we're spending more time with our coworkers. I remember the 80s myself. Everybody was working a lot at these companies and you're spending a lot of time with them. And then online starts to happen, and take a look at how much time we are spending online as compared to everything else. It is shocking and gives you perspective.
Lawyers are the most dangerous people. Lenin was trained as a lawyer. Castro was trained as a lawyer. Robespierre was a lawyer. Well, Gandhi was not a revolutionary, but he was also a lawyer. So lawyers are actually very dangerous people, because if you have a large number of them, all right, and some of them get frustrated in their goals, all right, then they're very smart, they're well networked, they're good at organizing things. And so in the past, what we typically see is that revolutionary movements, revolutionary groups and parties would be organized by such counter elites, the frustrated elites who turn against the ruling regime.
In general, good men are steady and consistent and predictable. It's why as women, we think you're boring. Again, it's just another difference between us, not good or bad or right or wrong, just another difference between us as men and women. As women in general, we like chaos and drama and disruption of routine. That's what makes us feel alive and engaged in life. We abhor structure. As women, we abhor structure and routine because we want to do what we want to do, and we think it's boring to have that routine. Structure holds us accountable, and we don't want accountability. So we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it and thrive on that instability because, again, it makes us feel engaged and alive. Ergo, why we are attracted to bad boys, because they're chaotic, and we think that's exciting, and it adds drama and passion to our lives.
These two guys are actually a really interesting case study into the fact that money actually can't buy you everything. And this is what I mean by that, okay? These two guys are two of the most brilliant minds of all time, but they are nerds. Nerds. And I don't even like to use that term disparagingly, okay? Because nerds are geniuses in their own right. It just means that their brain is a genius at certain things, and typically socially they're bad. And with these guys, they are geniuses. They created incredible products that they built into massive businesses. But when it comes to their personality, they are so lame. So lame. And no amount of money can fix that. No amount of money can buy cool. And they just want so bad to be cool. You can see that in everything that they do. They just want to be liked. They just want people to, they want to be that guy when they show up at the barbecue and people are like, oh, Zuck's here. And people might do that, but it's not because they actually like you. It's because that you're rich. And you can tell that they just want to be liked so bad. This guy went on SNL. He bought a social media platform because he just wants to be cool. He just wants people to be like, oh, Elon's here. You get ready for the zingers. But that's not what he is. It was painful because they have no personality. And no amount of money or power or influence can buy them that. So can money buy you happiness? Of course. It can buy you literally anything other than how to be cool.
You can fake high status by not being easily impressed. Seriously, it's that easy. No one has power over you that you are not giving them. I realized a while ago that people are constantly testing each other. It's often subconscious, but they are. They're noticing how reactive you are to their little expressions of approval and disapproval. And if you can get to a place where you are genuinely detached from the opinions of any particular person, that is high status. Status isn't being mean or snobby or making people feel less than or dressing a particular way. In fact, people who do that are quickly pegged as insecure by people who who are actually high status. Those techniques only work on people who are unsure of themselves. Status is when you're internally motivated. You have your own guiding light, so you can be relaxed around other people. You're not constantly tracking their reactions to you. That's why practicing detachment is so important. It doesn't mean that you're not motivated in life. It just means that you are less reactive to all these little ups and downs. And that gives you so much power.
Now, this is how you become a master of astrology. Fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. And I'm saying it for a reason. It's a mantra, because once you do this in your mind and remember the solstices, remember the sine wave, and remember this circle, everything connects to this. Male, female, etc. Electric, magnetic. Here we put 6 a.m. Here, of course, 12 p.m. Here 6 p.m. and here 12. So we've covered the day and the year. So you see how this is black and light, summer and winter, hot and cold, all the good things that we love and need for life, and all the things that oppose life and give death. Remember, what part of the body is here? The head. There's the neck, there's the 2 arms, the twins, and so on and so forth. And the feet wrap up, the 2 fish wrap up here and touch the back of the head. There's the man. All you have to do to have the fundamentals of astrology is those 3 wheels. The body as below, and as above, the 2 cycles of the day, 6, 12, 6 and 12, equinox, solstice, and you build your knowledge of astrology on those 3 cycles.
Studies show that the highest vibration that a human can give off is authenticity. It's higher than gratitude, it's higher than love, it's higher than acceptance. Authenticity is the top one. And I'll explain why I think that is. I think it is because when you are authentically you, you're not looking for validation outside of you. You realize that everything that you need is in here. Because that's true. You're not staying in a city that you hate because you feel like other people will like you being there. You're not staying in a job you hate because you think other people are going to praise you. You're not playing hard to get with that boy and not being yourself and not operating as yourself and listening to dating gurus on TikTok. You're not doing stuff like that because you know that the person that you are is so incredible. You don't need to search for things outside of you. You don't need to play a certain role in people's heads. Everyone's playing a role in your head. They're auditioning for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you move authentically, everything starts to fall into place because it's stuff that's made for you. It's dreams and goals that are going to be given to you, not anybody else. And I know someone's like, well, how do I move authentically? Sit with yourself and figure out who you would be without a car, without a job, without money, without anybody. If you could just float around, who would you be? What would you value? How would you think? How would you behave? That's your authentic self. The person that comes out first, your first instinct. That's your authenticity right there. That's your authenticity. Follow that. I'm telling you. And please, if you're manifesting an SP, please stop trying to play hard to get. Holy crap.
Ever wonder how Tim Cook, the man behind Apple's incredible success, was able to go from a small town Alabama kid to the CEO of one of the world's largest tech companies? Well, buckle up because his journey is kind of fascinating. Tim Cook grew up in the small town of Robertsdale, Alabama, and growing up, he was just like any other kid, except he had a knack for numbers and a huge curiosity for technology. Fast forward to the 80s, Tim graduates from Auburn University with an industrial engineering degree. Little did anybody know, he was about to revolutionize the tech industry. After a short stint at IBM where Tim sharpened his skills in supply chain management, he moved to a little-known company at the time called Compaq. There was a plot twist. In 1998, Tim got a call that would change his life forever. It was none other than Steve Jobs, who had a proposition for him. Jobs needed someone to fix Apple's messy supply chain, and Tim Cook was the guy for the job. Despite warnings about Apple's shaky future, Tim took a leap of faith. His decision paid off big time. Under his leadership, Apple's supply chain became a world-class operation, leading to iconic launches like the iPod, iPad, iPhone, all of the devices we enjoy today. And when Steve Jobs stepped down as CEO due to health issues, there was only one person he saw that could take his job, and that was Tim Cook. Since becoming CEO in 2011, Tim transformed Apple into a $1 trillion empire, expanding its product lines and services. From a small-town boy to the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook's journey is proof that by taking risks and having a vision for yourself, you can have unimaginable success. What's your favorite Apple product? Let me know in the comments.
There's a time traveler from the year 2671 who came to warn us about 2025. March 30th, a mile-wide asteroid is going to hit Central America.
Okay.
And millions will be killed, and it's going to be crazy. Then April 20th, many of the world's largest volcanoes will erupt. And for some reason, this is going to cause a lot of pressure in Yellowstone, Fuji, and Mauna Loa. And we'll see some massive eruptions.
This is all this year?
Yeah, this is all this year. This is what this time traveler came to say.
I'm just keeping track here.
September 21st, the first ever Category 6 hurricane will hit the United States. It'll be heavily focused and wind speeds of 400 miles per hour.
Okay.
It's going to be a hurricane named Karen. I'm not even kidding. This is what the
I'm stop writing. I was literally writing these down like an idiot.
Anyway, it's all over TikTok. I just didn't know if you saw it or not.
Is the hurricane going to complain to management?
I'm sure it will.
So much has happened in the past 24 hours, it's insane. Joe Biden has been out of office for only 2 weeks, yet today we're finding out that he's just signed with a talent agency based in LA. Brother, is retirement that bad? Now, there's no information on what 82-year-old Joe is planning, but I'm sure it'll drop before GTA 6. Next, in an alarming and frankly unprecedented development, El Salvador have just agreed to house US criminals in their infamous mega prisons, along with illegal migrants of any nationality. America's Secretary of State said that the deal he struck with their president is the most unprecedented, extraordinary migratory agreement anywhere in the world, and that, quote, we can send them and he will put them in his jails. Bukelele, of course, said that this would be in exchange for a fee. Next, remember this clip that went insanely viral of the DC plane and helicopter collision? Well, the 2 employees of MWAA that allegedly leaked that footage to CNN have now been arrested. They're accused of making an unauthorized copy of records and are now facing charges of computer trespass. Penalties for this can vary depending on the nature and the severity, but it can include substantial fines and even imprisonment. Next, Trump floated the idea of an American sovereign wealth fund buying TikTok. Now, currently the US doesn't have one, but yesterday he signed an executive order directing its creation within the next year, and then mentioned that it can even be used to acquire assets like TikTok. No idea what that means for who owns it, but if it was the US government, I don't think many people would get on board. Next, Trump also said that he would be demanding Ukraine to give its rare earth minerals to the United States as payment for all the aid that they've given them. Next, and then finally, according to the Wall Street Journal, the White House is now preparing an executive order to dismantle and defund the Department of Education. They also added that the announcement on the details will be coming sometime this month.
Let me tell you something. 48 years of study, I'm going to give you a secret. Nothing in this world is what you think it is. Government does not work the way you think it does. Religion is a corporation, especially in the Western world. All religions operate under maritime admiralty law. Maritime admiralty is the law of water. There are only 2 things on the earth, land and water. So there are 2 kinds of law, the law of the land and the law of water. The law of the land is the custom of the people who live on a particular piece of land. So the law of the land is different in every country.
Okay, got it.
But there is also a far more important law on the earth. It's called the law of the water. And that law is referred to in courts as maritime admiralty.
What are some of those laws that we're not aware of?
Oh, my goodness. When you walk into a courtroom, why do you go to court? You play basketball on a court. You play tennis on a court.
Right.
Yeah, how do you play tennis on a court? You play with a racket. Come on. And so when the judge walks out, he rules from the bench, right? Look it up in a Latin dictionary. The word bench is a bank in Latin. And so the judge is ruling for the bank. That's why he wears a black robe, because the black robe represents the planet Saturn, the god of banking and law, who in the ancient world was called Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Well, he is Lord of the Rings.
Like this ring.
And so women were told in the ancient world to listen to their god, so they would wear an ear ring. Men were to get married before their god, so they wear a wedding ring, because Saturn was Lord of the Rings.
Check us out. This is a secret Japanese city built at the base of Mount Fuji. But it's not just any city, because this city is a real-world test lab for cutting-edge technology. All the latest tech in one giant town populated by real people. It's called the Woven City, and it was built by Toyota. Now, the coolest part of the Woven City is the road system, because instead of one main type of transportation, the architects split the city into 3 different road types. One for higher speed autonomous vehicles, one for personal mobility with e-bikes and scooters, scooters, and a third with linear parks and human-only walkways. These 3 road types are then interweaved into 3x3 grids throughout the city, woven together like fabric to create the most efficient and natural flow. But this is only part of what makes the transportation system so great, because there's a whole AI logistics network built underneath the ground. Goods and supplies will move around the city automatically through underground tunnels with self-driving robots, delivered directly into each house through pressurized tubes. Now, all of the roads, tunnels, houses, and vehicles will be interconnected and fully tech-enabled. Think of it like having one giant living prototype. Eventually, the city's gonna house over 2,000 people, and this will allow Toyota and other companies to test new technology at scale in a real-world environment. I think this is a peek into the future of smart cities.
I must say I really enjoyed this video. See, I couldn't even say anything because I was just absorbing the information that was in this video, and I really enjoyed myself. I hope you did too as well. If you've come to the end of the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. And also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.